Honey, I need love. I need it all the time. Honey, I need love. Won't you make it right?
We're gonna take it over. Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Welcome back to another episode of How I Got the Shot. Let's start off by discussing the concept. Luxury, high quality material, resort life. Those were the motivating factors for the choice of models, location, props, and poses. If you viewed my videos before, my gear for this photo shoot is no different than the others. I used the Canon R5, I had the EF 24-70 2.8 version 2, and also had the EF 70-200 2.8 version 2. From a lighting standpoint, I was primarily using the sun as my main light, but I also had the Profoto D1Xs to work as a fill and also use my reflector. Because I didn't have my second assistant and I wanted to be safe, I rented what felt like the largest light stand on earth. Justina could barely move it, which meant I had to move it, which meant I became my own assistant at times, which was a little bit inconvenient, but it was all my fault, and that's fine. You know how they always say it's better safe than sorry. In retrospect, we could have just gotten a smaller C-stand and would have been fine, because I also rented 2 heavy sandbags, which when placed correctly meant that nothing would move. All right, so for the shoot itself, we were shooting in Dallas, Texas in mid-July, which is like being on the surface of the sun itself. It was dry and it was hot. There was no wind. You know, this is why I was saying like the light stand wouldn't fall over. There was no moisture in any of the air at any point, at any time while we were there. I promise I questioned my own existence multiple times. The heat was just, it was just taking everything from me. And despite drinking water, I still almost passed out. I learned that hydration isn't about water, it's about electrolytes. Now, back to the photo shoot. So we started at 8 a.m. and by 8:30, I was drenched in sweat to the point where sweat was dripping into my eyes. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I legit couldn't see at one point because sweat was just going into my eyes so much, to the point where I just had to just wipe my face with my shirt because I didn't want to go back in the house and get a towel or anything. Like, it felt like I was back conditioning for basketball. Like I was on somebody's team and I'm just running laps in the middle of the Florida heat, trying to get myself in shape. Like, it was intense. For the project itself, we had about 13 looks and planned to shoot in front of the house with the Porsche and then go to the back and shoot around the pool. The shots by the car were probably the most challenging, mainly because we had really dope concepts and we had beautiful models who were great for the swimwear, but the poses were for bigger cars. Like, it didn't click to us that we needed a car that was similar to what was in the mood board itself. So it was a lot of creative negotiations happening, in addition to me getting used to how harsh the light was. So at that point where the sun was on the horizon, despite me actually knowing that ahead of time, I had to do a lot of calculating to be able to have the exposure dark enough to where I didn't lose the complexion of my client, and then bright enough to where the house behind us was not completely in shadow. I was also shooting tether, which helps a lot. I didn't mention that earlier, but I was shooting tether. So as I was shooting, I could see what I was getting, and I was able to play and push and pull within Capture One until everything looked balanced. And once I knew it looked balanced, I can continue shooting. Also, in regards to tethering, I had Capture One connected to my iPad through their app. I think it's called Capture One Live. So basically, the iPad and the laptop were talking through Wi-Fi. As I was shooting into the computer, it will populate the iPad, so my client could just look at the iPad and the images would show up there. Now, that's not like new technology per se, but this was just a very, very effective way of doing it. I think this is probably like their best iteration of it than what we had before. Once we moved to the back of the house by the pool, the shots were a lot easier to manage, but it did require us to do a lot of maneuvering, getting creative with the angles. It's not like we didn't do that before, but okay. So the sun was our main light, right? And because of its intensity and the direction, all of the shadows were very dark and crisp. So anytime that I had the light coming from the side of the model, it created a very deep shadow on their face or on the swimwear. And you can't have that for these type of shoots. So what we had to do was turn the models towards the light or angle them slightly to where we got rid of those shadows. Then also use the strobe, and you also use the reflector to bounce back and get rid of those shadows or fill in those shadows. In addition to that, Behind us was a bunch of farmland, like cows, horses, barns, hay, that type of thing. All of that was behind us, and that was not photographed well for what we were doing. So I removed a lot of that stuff in Photoshop, or I would just add a bunch of trees that were already there, like multiply the trees and make it give you like this foresty type feel. Or I had the models stand up on something and elevated them to where they were essentially just in the sky. So you would just see them and then the sky itself with no clouds or anything, just the color blue. To let you know, it balances out with the skin if you're using color theory. Now, yes, there are people that are gonna say, hey, you could have used high speed sync. You're right, but that is not the look that we were going for. The client did not want it super obvious that we're using strobes. She wanted the hard light like she saw in the images, and I was able to give that to her. Now, one of my favorite shots of the shoot was using the drone. This client was the reason why I took the Part 107 test. I did not want to do anything with the drone without having the legal part figured out. So I knew I needed to take the Part 107 test. I was able to pass that with an 87. I still need to make a video about that. I am gonna do that. I still didn't make a video about that, but I bought a new drone. So I got the DJI Air 3S, and I was super excited to bring it up in the air. So once we got to that part of the shoot, Lakora got into position without hesitation. Mind you, it was super hot, but she did a great job. She just got there, got into position, posed the way we asked her to, and I was able to get the shot within probably like 15 to 20 frames. So I didn't have her out there for that long, and we were able to get the shot. So everybody was happy. And then I made a few adjustments in Photoshop, and you'll see those later. Also, I wanted to mention, working with new models is always interesting to me, especially when they're from different markets. Like, all agency models are not built the same, not physically, but when it comes to posing style and just their overall temperance and demeanor. So I always show up with an open mind. I take my time learning who they are as we go through the mood board. I notice all like the little small nuances and all the little things that make them who they are. I can tell when a model is frustrated, excited, bored, if she's out of ideas, truly loving the shoot, and when they're really happy to be a part of the project. It's just very obvious to me. So I feed into those things as we're going along. With that in mind, if let's say the model is not feeling in a good mood, or something negative happens, or something is distracting, I've been paying enough attention to how they operate to get them back focused, or to re-inspire or re-motivate them, so that we can actually finish the project. I was also impressed too by the models because they were tasked with doing reels in between shooting with me. So they would do some shots with me, go inside, do reels, change, and then by the time they're changing, they're coming right back out to shoot with me again. Like, everybody was working with clockwork. The team that my client chose for the project, they did an amazing job managing the project. They had the logistics figured out. We had printouts of everything that we needed. It was a very, very fluid process. And the times when we needed to make adjustments, they were very fluid with that. There was no like big resistance or any weird comments or no faces made. Everybody just stayed focused on what we needed to do, and everybody was organized. Like, it was great communication between us, the team, the models. Everybody was on the same page and just working like clockwork. This was my first time back in Dallas since like 2013. I'm also not sure if that's the last time I went there. It was somewhere around that time. And the last time, it was also for a photo shoot, but a much smaller photo shoot. I left that trip with Dallas being on the top of my list of cities to live in. Like, I was so excited about being there. I think it was just the people I was with, or maybe it was just cooler. Maybe there was wind, because I don't remember being that hot. Last time I went there, it was so hot. I'm not even like, I'm a Floridian. I'm used to humidity. I'm used to heat. I can generally do those together. I mean, it's still draining, but I can deal with that. This dry heat, I promise it felt like a part of my soul evaporated that day. Yes, I'm being dramatic, but I promise you I was that hot. If you guys would have seen me after the shoot, trying to get my life back together, like, I immediately went and took a nap. My body was like, we just need to recover. Felt like I was Goku or something after a battle and had to go sit in the little hyperbolic chamber or something. Like, I just needed to recover.
Oh, hi, I'm hot, very hot. I'm not dehydrated, but I'm very hot. And I don't know if y'all can hear that in the background, but my client is making us listen to Drake. I don't want to listen to Drake. Damn Drake. Yes, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. It's hot. It's like everything that we planned made sense, but it's so hot that it doesn't make any sense now. So we're all over the place. Like, the mood board it's a real thing, but it's like, it kind of matters. We're spending half our time trying to stay inside in this Texas heat. So yeah, Texas photo shoots.
Where do you want them?
They're gonna be standing up there.
Point?
Yeah.
Who do you want in the middle?
Probably Tandis. Let's try Tandis in the middle first. Let's see how it looks. If we like it, we'll keep it. If not, You ready? Right here.
Moral of the story, plan your photo shoots to keep your clients happy. Pay attention to your models. Check your gear before you leave for the airport. I know I didn't talk too in depth about that, but somebody named did not bring and so we had to make something out of it. Now, obviously the shoot went well, but it would have been easier had brought like we normally do. Also, stay hydrated with electrolytes. Water is not enough. And continue to have fun while you're shooting. Now, I say all that to say, I know we're shooting for our clients, we're shooting for our network, we're shooting for our friends, our family, everybody else on the earth. Make sure you're making time to shoot for yourself. All right, see you in the next one. Peace.